Hey guys, I wanted to encourage you this week. It's been a while since I've done this, but I want to ask you this question. Are you called to be a person of influence? The truth is, if you are a follower of Jesus, your answer should automatically be yes. Whether you are called to influence your family, called to influence the business arena, called to influence the arts and entertainment industry like I am, or maybe you're called to influence your educational system or politics, whatever it may be, God wants to partner what your passion is with your purpose in Him. I really believe that right now God is raising up Daniels and Esthers. And so what do these two characters have in common, this hero and this heroine? It's pretty interesting. Both of them were called into a palace to influence kings for their specific time and for specific reasons. And so I believe that in this time, that as God raises up people in the earth who are called to be men and women of influence, that it's not on accident, that the things that are in your heart to do, the dreams of your heart, whether you're called to a different arena other than the church, that God wants to use you powerfully there. But the question is that when you're brought before kings and people of influence, will you know who you are in Jesus? Will you be able to stand them and not be influenced by them, but become the influencer that changes things, that demonstrates God's purpose on the earth for this hour? You know, there is a verse in Esther that is very well known, and it's Esther 4:14, and it says, "Perhaps you have been brought into the kingdom for such a time as this." And this is Esther's uncle Mordecai saying this to Esther. She's put in this position where she's gone through all these months of beauty treatments to be presented to the king, and she's chosen from all these women. She's given favor to become queen. And her people, the Jews, are about to be wiped out from the land because of a plot against them. Esther is in a position to bring deliverance to her people. So Mordecai comes up to her, and this is where that Bible verse comes in. But what's interesting is a couple of sentences before, Mordecai says to her something that has just been hitting me lately. And he says, "If you remain silent at this time, if you remain silent, Esther," did you know that God has given you a voice for this time? And it's not just to have a place of influence and to have all the perks of being in a palace, but it is to raise your voice and to speak up for God's kingdom. So he says, Esther, if you remain silent at this time, God is going to raise somebody else up to do what He's called you to do. But don't think that you're going to be safe, because there's still going to be trouble if you don't do God's calling. But what if this is your chosen hour to be all that God has made you to be? And this is the reason why He has raised you up as a queen, as a person of influence. And so I want to encourage you today to seek God and ask Him for that influence, but not just to have a title for yourself or to have all your dreams come true, but so that you can be brought into places of influence for this hour to demonstrate God's purposes in the earth and to show the world Christ in you, the hope of glory. Because this is the time that we're living in. People need to see Jesus represented well. And can we be Esthers and Daniels, that we get thrown into the fire or thrown into the lion's den and we still know who we are in Jesus because we have spent time letting Him develop our character in the secret place. So if you're in a season of process where you're going through all these difficult trials and testing, take heart, because God is developing gold within you so that when you get to your chosen moment, your destined moment, you'll be able to stand and you'll be able to say, I know who my God is. And so that way, when you come out of the fire, you won't be smelling like smoke. You'll come out of the lion's den alive as an example of who Jesus is. And so I hope that encourages you, and let God take you through the process, like Esther went through a process of beauty treatments to become who she needed to be for that hour. Don't despise the process. Don't despise the day of small beginnings, but let God form you into the person of character and integrity you need to be to stand before kings and to shine, arise and shine with the light of Jesus. So obviously I'm really passionate about this message right now, and I felt like there's just something I needed to say and release it, because I know that's what God has called me to do in this time. It stretches me to use my voice and to speak out about what I feel like God is telling me to share. But if there's one person I can encourage, then it is all worth it. And so I hope that you guys have a wonderful day, and ask God to use you in this hour, because no one gets counted out. All you have to do is give your life to Jesus and seek him, and he's going to use you in a mighty way.